So the first nerve that we're going to look at is called the median nerve. Now, our median nerve is the one that gets associated with carpal tunnel syndrome. It's the nerve that gets entrapped right here. Now, if we look at the distribution of the cranium of this nerve, it actually is in charge of our thumb, our index finger, as well as our middle finger, and then half of our ring finger. So the distribution comes from the palm of the hand at the top, going towards the thumb, the index, the middle, and then half of the ring. And then on the back hand, it goes to basically think about that first knuckle. So think of like your fingernails. At the tip of the fingernails is where it distributes at. So before we get into the actual mobilization of this nerve, we have to test it. So this nerve is a sensory as well as a motor nerve. So it does both. So if we look at how our brain is wired, sensory comes before motor. So before we even get done with it, before we get doing this mobility exercise, we got to do some sensory work on this nerve itself. So I'm going to get my lovely assistant in here, my beautiful wife. So we have a couple different sensations. So we're going to get a little bit closer to the camera to kind of see this. So what I'm going to have her do is she's just going to hold her hand up like so. And now I'm going to look at those same distribution areas that I told you in that other video. We're going to look at the thumb, the index finger, the middle finger mainly. And then we're going to flip it over and we're going to look at the tip of those same fingers. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to have her put both hands up like this. I'm going to have her close her eyes. I'm going to touch each finger one at a time, and she has to tell me if they feel the same or if one is more sensitive compared to the other. So I'm going to start off with your thumb. Does this feel like this?
Yes.
All right. This feel like this?
This is more sensitive.
Okay. This.
More sensitive.
Okay. Flip your hands over. Does this feel like this?
Mm-hmm. More sensitive.
Okay. Okay, so we did light touch. So now we have to do the same thing. I have a handy dandy Z-Vibe. So it's a vibrational tool. So normally what I have people do is I want them to touch it so they have a feeling for it. So go ahead and touch it. So you have an idea how it does. We're going to go to those same positions. So eyes closed. Does this feel like this?
Mm-hmm.
This? This?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Flip your hands over. This, 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 this.
Same.
All right. So vibration is not a big deal for her. Light touch might be a little tricky, but now we're going to go. It's a tuning fork, but I'm going to try and get it a little bit cold for her. So now we're going to test cold. So palms up. So now eyes closed. Does this feel like this? Okay. This. This. And good. So we'll flip it over. So does this. It's kind of hard with cold with the fingernails, but we'll do our best. Okay. All right. So the last one we're going to do, because we're testing different spinal tracts here. So here's the last one we're going to do. We have sharp and dull. So palms are up. I'm going to basically stab your hand. I want you to tell me if it's sharp or if it's dull. Are you ready?
Ah!
I'm guessing she really thought it was sharp.
Oh, she's really sharp. Do it more softly, please. I couldn't tell. That's sharp. Sharp. Dull. Dull.
Good.
Sharp. Sharp.
Okay.
Dull. Dull. Dull.
Good. Other hand.
Sharp. Sharp.
Good.
Dull. Dull. Sharp.
Good.
Sharp. Sharp. Sharp.
Good. So sharp and dull was pretty good. Most of the time what happens is we want to see how fast do they react to it. So if I stabbed her, it took her a few seconds to say sharp, or she was stabbed, immediately said sharp. So we want to think about how fast they reacted to it. So that's pretty good. So far out of all of the sensory testing, so vibration, light touch, cold, and then sharp and dull, I'd probably say out of sensory work, she's okay. Probably a little bit more sensitive on her right hand with light touch. So that's something to kind of take note of. So now that we looked at the sensory, because sensory comes before motor, we got to look at the actual motor components. So the main muscles, yeah, exactly. The main muscles that are in charge with this median nerve is going to be mainly these three fingers. It deals with, so what we're going to test is we're going to test her thumb. We're going to test wrist flexion, and then we're also going to test wrist pronation, or turning the palm down. So here's what I'm going to have her do. I'm going to have her squeeze her pinky and her thumb together relatively hard, just one at a time. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to have her start squeezing, and I'm going to slowly build up to where I can kind of break it. Now, these are smaller muscles. I'm going to win, okay? So a couple rules on a muscle test. You start the test, I finish the test, and it's not allowed to hurt. You can't say ow, okay? So go ahead and push them together. Push, 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 push. She's pretty good on that side, so let's try the other side now. So same thing, fingers together. Yep. So go ahead, push, 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 push. Here I go. So her median nerve is actually pretty good with her thumbs. So now let's test other ones. So now I'm going to have her put her hand like this. She's going to curl her wrist up. I'm going to put my hand here. I'm going to try, so I'll switch it up. I'm going to try and push her hand down to my forearm. So I'm here. So ready, go ahead and push into my hand. Push, 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 push. Here I go. Okay. Same thing, other side. Yeah, don't forget to breathe. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Pull, 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 pull. Here I go. Pretty good. So about the same on both sides is what we want. So now here's what you're going to do. You're going to shake my hand. So now, stay right there. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to try and supinate her. She's going to try and supinate me or pronate herself. All right. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to push in like this. So yeah. So ready, slowly build into my hand. Build, 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 build. Here I go. Good. Relax. Same thing, other side. Did that hurt?
No, it didn't.
Oh, okay, good. Come in a little bit closer so they can see. All right, here we go. Sorry, I'm going to try to angle it to where you can see it a little bit better. So now ready? Get closer. So ready, 3, 2, 1, go, go. So I'm going to say this side was just a little bit weaker than the other side. So those are the motor ones. We're going to look at thumb. We're going to look at wrist flexion, and then also wrist pronation, or palm going down towards the floor. So now out of the findings that we got, we found out that her right hand was not as, it had a little bit more sensitivity on that side compared to the left. So noting that. And then we noticed that she was a little bit weaker on her left going into that pronation. So this is going to make me think that we need to go after her median nerve on her left side. So here's what I'm going to have her do. I'm going to have her get into the position. So couple rules with these nerve glides. Don't yank or pull ridiculously hard at them. Out of a 10 scale, I want you to start off here right now, probably about a 3 out of 10, eventually working up to around a 7. All right, for right now, we're going to do just a 3. So here's how it's going to look. I'm going to have her get more into the frame. We're going to be doing it on her left side. So here's what's going to happen. She's going to bring her hand by her side. She's going to, so other side. So hand by her side.
Oh, you did that.
So all I'm going to have her do is she's going to spread her fingers on the left side only. She's going to extend her wrist with her fingers spread. She's going to depress the shoulder. Now, if you're following along, you might already feel kind of a nervy sensation in these 3 fingers. That's the median nerve. So now from here, you're going to slowly bring it out. And then to keep that depression, now you're going to laterally flex the head away. Now, since she was having problems with the pronator muscles, we're going to look at more of the wrist as the driver. So what I'm going to have her do, she's going to curl her hand in, and then she's going to go back to that extension. She's going to give me 5 reps there. She's looking good.
I should feel this a 3 out of 10.
About a 3 out of 10 for right now. And beautiful. Go ahead and relax out of that.
Oh, nice.
So out of the drivers that we can do here, because we want to think about where are they having the issue at. So most of the time, if they're having a carpal tunnel issue, it's going to be more, I want to work on the wrist, but you can also hold this position, work from the elbow, work from the shoulder, work from the neck. So you have different drivers of this nerve because it branches off from our cervical spine down to our fingers. So we can utilize neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, even fingers, just to kind of get different flossing or different tension scales on that actual nerve to help it basically with activation. All right, so now just immediately after that, let's go back to that sensory work because sensory comes before motor. So I'm going to have her go back to her fingers being spread. She's going to have her eyes closed, so both hands. So does this feel like this?
Oh, yeah.
This feel like this?
Yes.
This feel like this? So now they're more even. Now let's go back to that muscle test. So I'm going to go onto the side that we know is a little bit stronger. So go ahead and I'm going to try and supinate you. Don't let me do it. 3, 2, 1, go, go. Oh, nice and strong. Good. Now we're going to go to the other side and see if it's now more even. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Yes. So that's better. So as a coach or a movement specialist, what I recommend is if she was my client, I would recommend working on this. The latest research on neuromechanic drills is saying you want to get around 100 reps a day to basically make that plasticity change. But sometimes that can be devastating. So I always recommend 3 to 5 reps, 3 to 5 times a day. If you can do more, the answer is yes. So this is the median nerve. Hope you enjoyed this video. That's how I basically test different nerves. So the last thing I want to cover is common entrapment points of this median nerve. There are 2. So if you look at the median nerve, it branches off our spinal cord at C5, 6, 7, 8, and T1. Now, the common entrapment points are obviously where the carpal tunnel syndrome normally happens. So right here, but also if you look at the root of C6. So if we go back to our neck, C6, if I tuck my chin down, I feel this big old bulb on the back. That is C7. So if I go just one bone above that one and then over to the side, that is a common entrapment point. Now, the reasons why I want to look at entrapment points, these might be areas that we might need to work on some skin manipulation or possible KT taping to help relieve the nerve to where it's able to function better or more properly to help with strength, to help with mobility of the nerve, better hand strength, better hand function. So these are things to think about. So the common entrapment points, basically right in here, and then that C6 area. So yes, those are common entrapment points.